All right, everybody. So it's been a minute since had a busy weekend here, so I wasn't really able to do much with the game. But what I'm working on now is you can see what I did. One little thing is if I tap, just barely tap the player to move, you can now inch your way along. So same thing moving up and down. Before, just barely tapping would cause the player to move like about that much, like it would go a whole tick's worth of distance. And now it uses an acceleration factor. So as like a third of a second goes by, it ramps up to the point where now he's moving. And I did try a whole velocity and acceleration, doing it the right way, but it just didn't feel right. It felt like he was skating on an ice rink too much. And even though I put the acceleration way high, it just didn't feel right at all because when you transition between up and down, it was way less twitchy. It was way more of like ice rink. So I pretty much axed all that and then just did a really simple thing where it ramps up an acceleration factor. So it's actually 0 to 1 floating point factor um, that is applied to the instantaneous velocity, which is generated by pressing left, up, right, or down. So that's pretty cool. Now what I'm working on here is transitioning between scenes and doing it really cool. What I want to happen is for the player to step off the side of the screen here, and then for the whole the other scene to slide out and the new scene to slide in, and have him walk nicely between the two scenes. So the challenge of that is that Kokosugi X, the way it works with scenes, is that if you do a scene transition between two of them, they're static. So it'll take a snapshot of this scene and a snapshot of the new scene coming in, and we can certainly do a nice transition. That's what I already had in place there, was it would transition between those two scenes, but there's no way to make the player walk between those two. It's because it's just a snapshot of the scene. So I'm gonna go here. I'm creating a new kind of system where what happens is actually it instantaneously moves the whole current scene over, and then it creates the new scene in the place where the other one was, and then the camera just slides over while the player's walking. So it's a bit more complex because we have to disable player input, stop running certain systems, and things like that. But the advantage is that we will be able to see the player actually walk from one scene to the next, and that's going to be really cool, I hope. So tonight, that's what we're going to be doing right now. It's about 11:15. This video will be about maybe a half an hour long. I've already kind of got this started, but there's an obvious bug. Check this out. See, that's not working, and it's just getting faster and faster and throwing. So if we look at the actual output log here of that, what's happening is the player is getting put at successively larger and larger positions, so the movement system thinks that the player is already off the screen. So I think what needs to happen is for the player's position to be set correctly once the scene transition is complete. So let's get that going. So right here, this is my transition function. Here's where the hero pause is supposed to be. So I think what needs to happen is at the end of the scene transition, it needs to go looping through, find the hero, and then apply the new position. So let's try that. Okay, here's where this is completing the scene transition. So we're going to go from the current, we're going to loop over all the current areas entities. Let's do it like with an a nice C++ 11 for loop. So that's for auto-id in current area dot entities. Grab the current entity as an int. If it has a collision and the collision category is filter friend, then e dot position pause equals saved hero pause. Now, of course, that's not going to work if there's multiple heroes, but we're going to clean up this whole system a ton once this is all working. So let's hope that this makes it work. Just doing that. Okay, I'm gonna walk off the screen. That looked really weird, but at least it didn't transition again. You know, it's like it transitioned the wrong way. A good question. What's up? And by the way, BG Lanzer has a question here. Does Coco City have an editor, or did you create one yourself? I think if you're talking about like a level editor, and yes, there is a level editor, but I'm not using it. Here's the level editor that I'm thinking of. There's mapeditor.org, which is the tiled map editor. It's just mapeditor.org, like that. This thing's free. It's pretty easy to use, and you can make your own tiled levels. But this engine right here is, the whole point of it is to create randomly generated worlds. So that's one of the first decisions I made, was to not ever create a level in a map editor at all, or any kind of editor. Everything is created on the fly with code. So like, for example, there's some code which creates some walls and things like that. So the point is that eventually I'll be able to create an entire world randomly. So good question. So going back to this transition, we do have the hero position now working, but something's still wrong with it. So what happened here with that transition? Let's see. So if we transition to the right, we should have the scene move to the right, which it does. I don't know why it's so jerky like that. It moves out, but then the old one, Okay, I'm going to pay attention to the actual position of the camera. So I've got alpha, position, camera, pause is, what's that going to be, percent? Okay. Camera pause. It should be... Yeah, okay, so there's the problem. It's transitioning from 0 to 420. It should be going from negative 420 to 0. So I've obviously got things set up wrong here in the transition. Okay. Vector from compass direction. Villager comes to town. What's up, Villager comes to town? Thanks for saying it looks good, man. We're working on a transition here from scene to scene that will allow the player to keep walking while the scene transition happens. So Coco City X has scenes, and the problem with it is that their scene transitions create snapshots, so you can't actually animate characters and things like that while a transition is going on. So this is an attempt to create kind of a complex system that allows animation during the transition. So I think what's happening here is that it's the exact opposite of what it needs to be as far as a transition goes. So, or maybe that's right. Let's see. Maybe the player position is right, but then the camera is wrong. let's do this. Move that up here. So camera position, maybe it's that, I think that's what it is. Need to add the win size. Okay, let's see if that works. Now I'm gonna walk off the same direction. Okay, so that, is that right? Camera pause negative 420? Okay, why is that? That definitely moved the wrong direction, so let's move that back like this. And then the camera position should end up being 0. Back to 0. So, hold on, let's do this again. Look at the numbers. Okay, so yeah, that motion seems right. I don't know, I still don't know why it's flickering so much. But yeah, the camera position should be negative 420 and transition all the way to 0. How about this? Old camera position. Why? So when I add this win size vec, okay, it still flickers. When I add that, why is this one? Maybe I got the alphas wrong. Okay, alpha is definitely counting up from 0 to 1. The old camera position, wait. So if it slides this way, then, okay, so the old, if it's sliding that way, then the old scene is moved to the right. No, the old scene moved to the left. Yeah, the old scene is moved. The old scene in this case should be negative 420. The new scene should be at 0. And the camera should transition from negative 420 to 0. So why isn't it doing that? First of all, the camera position is not negative 420. But I think neither is this. If I do this minus. So that's like the right motion. But, okay, so that's the problem. The camera is transitioning in the right direction, however, it's starting at 0 and transitioning to 420. It should be starting at negative 420, transitioning to 0. Okay, let's log out these vectors and figure out why they're wrong. So win size vec is that, and current camera position is this. really crazy. Okay, so at the beginning of all this, win size vec, -420. Camera pause, 0, 0. Should just be able to add that, so what? Okay. Let's do it another time. Win size vec is this, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The current point is now the old camera position. Should be -420 times alpha. Hold on a sec. Okay. Are randomly generated games hard to code? Yeah, they are, because everything has to be done with code instead of doing it in the level editor. A level editor is pretty nice. You can just draw things and, like, you know, here's a level, draw this, draw that, just like I do with Photoshop to you know, to draw my characters and things like that. But yeah, so when you do it when you do a randomly generated game, you've really got to focus on the code, and the code's got to be awesome and really tight so that it can randomly generate stuff. Another way to actually, there's an easy way to randomly generate worlds, but it's kind of not really randomly generated, and that's how Binding of Isaac works. So you guys have seen Binding of Isaac, right? Binding of Isaac, let's get some screenshots of it. Binding of Isaac's kind of a Zelda-like game. There's a screenshot of it. And the way this game works is that he has like 500 different levels, 500 different things, and it randomly chooses between those levels to create a random world. So technically nothing is being randomly generated in code. It's just randomly selecting different levels. So this that's kind of a nice, easy way to do randomly generated, or you could call that procedurally generated worlds. But this is actual randomly generating everything. So like here I'm randomly selecting some positions for walls. So eventually this will be pretty cool in that it will actually generate a true random world. So the goal for this is to kind of create a Zelda 1-like world on the fly. So every time you play the game, it's going to be different. It is going to take a lot longer for me to code this and make this game. I'm thinking this might take 6 months to a year, but I think it's going to be worth it. I think it's going to be really fun to be able to play a game that's different every time. So that's the goal. Okay, so back to this. Win size vec -20, camera pause -420. So why? Oh, duh, because the alpha. Oh. Yeah, so this needs to be 1 minus alpha. Duh. Okay. Now, I think this should be... It might still flicker and look weird, but hopefully it'll actually move in the right direction. Okay, yeah, move in the right direction. I don't know where the hero is. I don't know what's up with that flicker, but we'll get those both handled. That's really cool. Thanks for explaining it. Yeah, I'm glad you got it. Or glad that I explained it right, is what I mean. Okay. Yeah, so now we've got that. That's transitioning in the right direction. What's up with that flicker, though, and the heroes? Yeah, -420 all the way to 0. Cool. Nice. Okay, so let's try transitioning the left, up, and down just to make sure the directions are right. Yeah, okay. That's right. Oh, there's my hero. Ah, maybe the hero's invisible. Huh. Okay, so let's try going up. Just make sure it moves in the right direction. Yeah. Also, I'm wondering where the heck the old area went. Okay, maybe the old area was supposed to add these positions, or maybe that I wasn't supposed to use pixel factor. Let's actually show what that is. So entity position. Okay, let's give the entity's ID, entity %d at move to okay, so get vec to x. Just going to show all the positions of all the entities so that just make sure that math is correct. There we go. Here's the old position. What's wrong with that? Int. Oh, we got to put out that ID. E.id ID, old position, new position. All right. Okay. Maybe the player is just invisible all of a sudden. Oh. Huh. Okay, let's see what the data says there. Here we go. Entity, blah, 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 blah. So entity 11 was moved to negative 410. That's right. Yeah, those are all right. Moved over. I'm just gonna go set the sprite for this hero to true. Make sure it's visible when this transition is done. Oh, nice. Cool. Somehow the player is getting invisible. I've got to figure out why. But at least it's not crashing. I don't know what's up with all that crazy flicker. It's like, let's try and, okay. Trying to look at it and see what it is that I'm seeing. It's like it's moving the whole old area. It's like flickering its position back and forth. It shouldn't be transitioning again and again, is it? Entity. All right. No, it does not look like it's moving all the entities every time. Okay, I'm going to put a note here too that why did I have to do this? So what I like to do with this whole video, what's that? How's your world space set up? Where's your origin? That's a good question. The world space is set up so 0, 0 is the bottom left. That's the Cocos 2DX default. So bottom left, 0, 0. Top right is going to be the size of your window. And so this is going to be like positive Y, 0x. This is positive X. 0y on the bottom right. So let's see. If we could figure out how to get this flicker to stop working, this would be a sweet transition right now. So what is it that's going on? Like, I'm pretty sure the entities are moved correctly. I know the render system is still working. It's still ticking the render system. It's still animating the render system. Oh, what? I'm going to see if the player immediately disappears. If the player immediately disappears, yeah, the player immediately disappears. So let's see. I wonder if that's happening in system, move system when, yeah, when the player transitions out of the area. Oh yeah, it does set the sprite to visible false. Okay. That solves that mystery. Let's just delete that. And then go back to the area, and now we don't have to re-enable it. Okay. That's a small victory. And hopefully it'll actually shed some light onto what's going on with the flicker. Yeah, see, the player even jumps around a heck of a lot. And there should be dirt on both sides. There should be 2 levels. Hmm. What could it be? Hmm. I think the camera position is smooth. Right? Yeah. That's smoothly animating. Oh. I know what it is. It's the render system. The render system is totally... It's moving every one of these guys to... It's interpolating its movement and setting its position based on 0, 0. Always. So what I want to do is I don't want to interpolate move the sprite. Oh, I want its last position to be synced up with its current position. And then I don't, yeah, okay, so if I put both those there, that will still ruin it. Okay, man, how am I going to disable this from happening during the transition? Okay, I'm going to do a quick hack for this just to see if this works. So, transition, and then we're going to do a static bool is transitioning. Does the sprite have to be reloaded into the scene? No, that's actually one thing I don't want to do because the sprite I want to stay on the screen and then just walk. Eventually he's just going to walk from one area to the other. So really the new area comes in, the old ones slide out, the player just walks from one to the other. So the sprite should stay there. So I think what's going on here is this transition is moving all of the every single entity to 0, 0. Okay, so this is a quick hack here, but actually, I'll do this hack over here. All right. So now it's not even going to animate the render system. I'm not sure if I like that, but let's see if this fixes it. All right. At least it's not flickering all the entities, but I'm still wondering why there's no dirt on both sides. Well, I was just going to recommend a hack and use a flag. Right? Yeah, we're both on the right track mentally. Okay, so why isn't there dirt in a whole area on both sides? Oh, well, the old system would have to move all of its sprites. Oh, I can just hack that too, for now. So right now, I'm just moving the position of the sprite, but really, what we want to do is just move the actual sprite. Okay, so the old position e.render.sprite.getPosition, and then add p.x plus equals winSizeVec.x. Can I just go p plus equals winSizeVec? Yay. All right, and then I think you can just go e.render.sprite.setPosition. P. Cross your fingers that it works now. Man, it still doesn't work. Huh. Well, I'll get it working eventually. Okay, I'm gonna give it like 1 or 2 more tries. Cool. Yeah, Unity's sweet, right? Unity's really, really cool. I love its 3D. You can do so many cool 3D things with it. Okay. Let's try minus equals. No. Okay. Pretty sure that's supposed to be plus, and then entity. Okay, we can just leave that. So let's go e.render.sprite.getPosition x, and then e.getPosition y, and then this is p.x, p.y. Okay, so this will output all of the positions to see what's actually happening there. Hopefully the math there is correct. If it is correct, then something else is weird is going on that's hiding that stuff. Okay, let's see what's up. Entity. Okay, so you were entity 35 at 11, 0, move to negative 410, 0. Is that right? Let's see, my game is currently at a resolution of, okay, yeah, it's 420 by 240, pixel size is 1. I'm in SD mode with my graphics, so I guess that is right. So entity 35. Let's just focus on the dirt at first. I'm gonna put out a little log statement when I create the dirt, so I know what entity it is. Then I can pay attention to what's going on with the math for it and see if we can fix this right now. So dirt entity. Okay. I did notice some weird flicker going on there for a second. Okay. Dirt entity 1. Why isn't entity 1? Oh! Maybe I forgot to even add it. No, right there. Entities push back. Weirdness. Okay, if you're entity 1, what? Here's another dirt entity, 127. That makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is that entities 1 through 34 are just magically not there. Kind of over my video's time for tonight, but I'm just going to go another like 5 minutes and see if this can be fixed. Okay, here we go. This explains the first 35 entities or so, because I have 33 different rock entities. So 1 plus 33, 34, and then yeah, that the next one would be 35, which is in there. Is there like entities that are cleared at some point? Entities pushback, entities pushback. Why would it clear the entities? Entities that push back. You know what? Okay, I think this might actually have to do with this reference getting passed into these functions. Yeah, it might be getting pushed, totally. So I think what we're going to do here is just, instead of using this reference, I'm just going to use the direct entities, so there's no weirdness at all going on with that. So current area.entities, replace that, that. Okay. Yeah, still no. It's like those first entities got cleared before. Man, it's so weird, right? Okay. I'm gonna log out the entity size. To see if this whole array is changing somehow. We're going to do this there after the walls are put up. And then once again at the whole end of all this. See what the data tells us. No idea why it would be erasing these, but it looks like it is. Okay, let's see. Oh, right. Enemy size 34, 106, 124. What? Alright guys, well, I'm unable here to fix it all, make it work perfectly right now, but in the next 24 hours, I guarantee I'll get it. So, thanks for watching, you guys. Great questions, great suggestions, and we'll be back tomorrow night around 11. So, thanks again for watching, you guys, and that's going to be it for tonight's stream. Talk to you guys later.